everyone, and welcome to the fourth day of BEHEALTH 2025. I want to emphasize the fact that it is a hybrid event. Thank you for all of you that are present here with us, but also I want to welcome all the participants that are online. I want to welcome. I want to invite on the stage our distinguished panelists, and let's start with Mrs. Flaviana Rotaru, our guest. She's the president of ROHEALTH, a gold standard health and bioeconomy cluster in Romania, and also the coordinator of MEDRO, the Romanian network of clusters in the medical fields. And her expertise includes public funding policy, business development, research, and innovation, and also refundable and non-refundable funds in the health sector. The second attendee is my friend. She's online, Antonella Cardone. Hi, Antonella. Antonella Cardone is CEO of Cancer Patients Europe. That is a pan-European all-cancer patient association. She's a patient advocacy expert and advisor to the board of Pancreatic Cancer Europe, uniting physicians, patients, politicians, journalists, academia, and industry. And she's also a member of Inspired to Live. Antonella led the European Cancer Patient Coalition and served as executive director of the Fit for Work Global Alliance. Our third distinguished guest is Mihaela Gherghicianu. Mrs. Gherghicianu is a medical doctor, professor at the Carol Davila University Medicine and Pharmacy in Bucharest, and scientific director of the Victor Babeș National Institute of Pathology, Bucharest. A specialist in cell biology, histology, and ultrastructural pathology, she leads research activities in electron microscopy and molecular bioimaging. I want to welcome Mrs. Florina Bojin, that is Associate Professor, Department of Functional Science, Immunology and Allergology Biology at Victor Babeș University of Medicine and Pharmacy Timișoara. And she's also coordinator of the Genomics and Molecular Biology Department in Oncogen, Center for Gene and Cellular Therapies in Cancer Timișoara. Unfortunately, Dr. Carmen Ungureanu is not able to join us today. Our last but not least speaker is my colleague Juan Jose Ventura. Juan Jose studied pharmacy and obtained his PhD at the University Complutense of Madrid, and he has conducted basic research in international institutions such as AMBL, I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing okay, CNIO, University of Cambridge, and K11. His research focused on the molecular mechanism of cancer, and after switching his career path, he moved to work as a patient advocate. Thank you very much for being with us today. And I'm sorry, it's both an honor and a privilege to moderate this important panel on European strategy for combating cancer, a topic that lies at the very heart of our collective mission to build a healthier and more equitable Europe. The European Cancer Beating Plan represents one of the most ambitious health initiatives of our time. It is not just a policy document, it's a vision for a continent where access to prevention, early diagnosis, treatment, and survivorship care is no longer determined by geography or social economic status, but by solidarity, science, and shared responsibility. Today's discussion will explore how European framework is being integrated into national health strategies. And we try to identify how innovation in prevention and care is reshaping patient outcomes and how international collaboration is strengthening our fight against cancer. This conversation directly supports the core objective of the EU4Health program, promoting health and preventing disease with a special focus. So let's start the talking, because we have a packed agenda. So the first panel topic is European national strategies in the fight against cancer. We will begin with an exploration of how European and national strategies intersect, complement, and sometimes challenge each other to implement cancer policies. I like to start with Mrs. Flaviana Rotaru, and from the perspective of health cluster, how can regional cooperation mechanism and innovation ecosystem accelerate the adoption of the European Cancer Plan within the national healthcare system?
So good morning, thank you very much for the invitation. I will talk a little bit about opportunities, because besides the policy issue, like we have a national cancer plan and a legislation behind it, what is important also is to have money for the research. And today, as we speak, we have a call dedicated to SMEs that want, and NGOs dealing with research. They can bring from TLR4 to TLR7, TLR8 their products, and we have also several projects on cancer prediction. So actually, because 2 years ago software became a medical device, all the apps and all the development that included software, now they should be regulated to go to get CE mark. And we managed to have, due to this wonderful cluster, to have a call dedicated only for going to market with these products coming from Romanian health innovation and research. And the call is 122 million euro. So it's not a small call. It's dedicated to Romanian, regardless of the region, to submit. Also, there are several regional calls where you can start, let's say, from early research, like TLR2 or 4, and go again up to the market with very good money on the project where you can actually develop your idea. I know that health research starts mostly in public research center. However, at a certain point, tech transfer is needed. So Romania took tremendous steps in this direction. And the cluster actually started this 6 years ago, when the policies, when you should define smart specialization domain, and we had a very strong lobby project that actually raised awareness in the entire country that we should be active and to put on the map the right fields for being financed. And today we actually collect the results. So I am very proud about how you can push the money behind ideas and policy. So we are in the happiest moment, if you ask me.
Thank you very much for this good news for the NGOs and the SMEs in Romania. And I want to switch to Antonella, because I'm sorry, you are talking about the core of any health strategies, the patients. As a voice of the European patients, where do you see the biggest gaps between the plan's aspiration and patient reality on the ground, particularly regarding equitable access to care? Antonella?
Yes, I have the organizers for inviting me to present today. Can you hear me, first of all?
Yes.
Okay, and I have some slides. Can you see my slides?
Not now. Moving on. Poftim? Cardone. Antonella, your internet, I understand that the quality of your internet is not so good, so we cannot see your slide. Or you?
Okay, so, well, maybe that is okay, so I can only speak if that is okay for you.
Yeah, please could you try to share again the slide with us? Thank you.
I'm sharing my screen, so to
Sure.
me, in principle, you see my screen.
We actually cannot. Maybe it's better to send a presentation to my colleagues and they will share it. In this way, you just need to use the voice and we don't.
Yes.
And maybe the transmission is better. Do you have the presentation, Andrea? So please, you share the presentation and let's try like this. Thank you very much. I'm an engineer. I cannot help it.
Everything will work okay. I trust the technical team.
Let's try this way.
And maybe until they. Oh, super. We have the slides, Antonella.
Okay, excellent. So I say next slide and they will move the slides, or you see my slides?
She said, next slide. Okay. The next one.
Okay. Yeah, so I am the Antonella Cardone, I'm the CEO of Cancer Patients Europe. Just a few words on Cancer Patients Europe so that you understand why I am legitimate to speak about cancer patients at the European level. We are an all cancer type patient organization, as Alina mentioned before, and we currently have 85 members in 32 countries, including the US, Canada, South Africa, and Egypt. And we work a lot on research, policy, and advocacy. Next slide. So we have been very active in the implementation of Europe's Beating Cancer Plan and looking especially trying to monitor the implementation of the plan and how it is going towards its targets. Europe's Beating Cancer Plan in its targets and goals is aiming at reducing cancer incidence and mortality through prevention, early detection, and equitable access to care. So the plan sets some precise targets. For instance, 40% of cancer cases are preventable, and so prevention is a key pillar of the Europe's Beating Cancer Plan. And there were targets included into Europe's Beating Cancer Plan coming from the Council recommendation on screening. So in the plan, it is included that screening to 90% of the eligible population for breast, cervical, colorectal cancer, and the reduction of at least 10% in the harmful use of alcohol are targets for 2025. Then targets for 2030 are around HPV vaccination, where 90% of the girls and a significant increase for the boys should undertake HPV vaccination. And the targets for 2024 on tobacco-free generation, where less than 5% of the population in Europe should use tobacco. Next slide, please. So where do we stand now? Unfortunately, we see in the implementation of Europe's Beating Cancer Plan still huge disparities across Europe. For instance, if we look at breast cancer, the rates in Poland are among the lowest in the EU, and they are at up to 37%. But also their national target is not even equal to the targets that has been provided by the European Commission, that is 90%, as I mentioned before, but in their national target they have 75%. So even if they reach the target, they would still be behind the European target. Then if we look at HPV, again, Poland aims to a vaccination up to 60% for the female population. And again, here, the target at European level is 90%. Then if we look at colorectal cancer, there are huge disparities between countries like Cyprus, Bulgaria, and Romania, where the rate of colorectal cancer screening is around 5%, while in Denmark, colorectal cancer screening, the uptake is up to 76%. In Bulgaria, the National Cancer Plan does not even mention population-based screening. So even in the national plans, in the targets in the national plans, there are huge discrepancies at European level. And then if we look at the uptake of cancer screening, one example was on colorectal cancer, we go from 5% in some countries and 76% in other countries. Next slide, please. And also if we look at, of course, then the uptake of screening or prevention measures has a repercussion on the survival rates. And in fact, there are the 5-year survival rate for colon cancer ranges from 49% to 68% across few countries. So again, huge disparities. And also, if we look at the diagnosis, fewer than 75% of laboratories in Eastern European countries have access to next generation sequencing technologies. And this is something that is very important for cancer, as early detection and what I also call accurate diagnosis often goes through the identification of the right mutation, so through biomarker testing. And also if we look at access to treatment, access to innovative treatments, there is a huge difference between different countries in Europe. We go from Germany, where innovative treatments are accessible almost the day after EMA approval, to countries where it takes more than 3 years to get a treatment approved, and countries where those treatments will never be approved, countries like in the Baltics. So there are huge discrepancies. So next slide, please. So what CP is doing in this space. So I will mention specifically a project that we are doing on breast cancer and genomic test. We started with breast cancer because breast cancer is normally, I could say, an easy cancer, meaning that is a cancer that affects women, and normally women are more aware, more sensitized to prevention, to health literacy compared to men. And also we started with looking at the uptake of genomic tests in 5, again, what we thought easy countries. We started with Germany, Italy, France, and Spain in Europe, and the UK. And we surveyed 1,400 breast cancer women, and across these 5 countries where this specific genomic test is available and reimbursed. And the striking answer was that 4 out of 5 women with breast cancer eligible for this specific genomic test, again, in countries where the test was available and reimbursed, 4 out of 5 women were not told by their oncologist the genomic test was an option to them. So this means that 4 out of 5 women, in principle, took chemo without any benefit, only the side effects. And we know that the side effects do not just come with problems on quality of life, they come with costs also on the healthcare system, because a woman with side effects need the healthcare system more. And so after this striking reality, we developed a white paper with a call to action, and we presented the abstract to ESMO. So in ESMO 2024, we presented in ESMO 2023 actually, we presented a poster on the findings of our study. And this year, our results were published on ESMO Breast. So we also developed evidence that is of public domain and publicly recognized. Then we also did another project. Specifically, we wanted to go a bit further down, and we looked at ESR1 and the liquid biopsy. And we presented a poster at ESMO Breast in 2024. So my colleague Juan Ventura, who will speak later, will deep dive into this, the results of this survey. Next slide. We are also looking currently at the sustainability of Europe's Beating Cancer Plan. We know that cancer is not on the priority agenda anymore of the European Commission as it used to be in the past. So we expect that it will be dropped in the coming years. So for the sustainability of Europe's Beating Cancer Plan, we believe that the work of Europe's Beating Cancer Plan could be embedded into the European semester. So last year we published a manifesto on the European semester. We launched this manifesto in the European Parliament, and we seek the endorsement from several MEPs and institutions at the European level. We also organized an event at the Health Forum Gastein, and we also presented another panel discussion at the European Parliament, together with the European Commission, MEPs, OECD, and other patient groups. So what we are saying is that the European semester is a mechanism that is already existing, so it's already existing, and it works very well for economic and fiscal indicators. It also embeds health indicators, but Minister of Health do not meet and discuss regularly health issues like the ministries of economy across Europe. They meet, the ministries of economy, they meet very regularly, more than once a month, while the Ministry of Health meet very randomly, maximum twice a year. So what we are now asking is to get the indicators that have been developed through the implementation of the Europe's Beating Cancer Plan, through the inequalities registry, embed those indicators into the European semester so that they can regularly be monitored. And we are currently in discussion with the European institutions. And I close it here, and I will stay here for questions at the end. Thank you. So next slide. And
thank you, Antonella. And after you kindly presented the European overview on inequality of cancers in Europe, I want to ask Flaviana if she could provide the context for Romania.
Yes, could you please provide a presentation? So, my presentation is about, first of all, I've seen that, unfortunately, it's not such a hot topic from a financing point of view level. And it's pretty disturbing because the same decision makers for not giving the money, they will even something worse besides not giving the money. I'll give you a practical example. We invested several years ago in health research in cancer, and we developed a non-invasive innovative solution for early detection of colorectal and lung cancer. Next, please. And these are today figures related to what's going on colorectal and lung cancer. As you can see, these are huge numbers and they are increasing. We managed to develop an algorithm for lung and colorectal cancer based on more than 1,000 real data patients. And several months ago, before ending the project, the regulatory landscape changed and they asked even the software to be CE marked. This putting all the innovators in the field, not only for this product, that actually it's a prevention product because it's early diagnosis, send them back like 3 or 4 years before, because two things happened. First, the notified bodies that are supposed to give you the CE mark were not prepared to work with AI and algorithms. Second, the producer of medical software relying on sequencing were not knowing how to do it, how you should behave in such an environment. From this situation, what we did in ROHEALTH, we developed a project that actually trained over 550 European producers in how to develop the files for CE mark, and also in the next room, it's a course that was played along in the last 2 years for notified bodies, personnel, and market operators. What is this story with the AI and algorithms and medical software in healthcare prediction? Because we use this, we need algorithms of prediction, but now we are medical device. So it's worse than not having the money. Even you manage to get the money and to develop, now the queue for a CE mark file is 18 months from the moment you submit, and you don't know if you get it. So you can imagine that also this will delay the capacity to actually benefit as a patient from this, as a doctor from this tool. And we are trying to discuss with the European Commission. Actually, we had a summit last week dedicated to this aspect, saying, guys, people are dying, and we actually had our hands tied. This is, I'm sorry, another not so good news, but you know, we don't give up, we fight a lot about this. Next slide. So the presentation is about the product. I want you all to know that exists already this algorithm based on DNA sequencing that can actually give you an early diagnosis. Unfortunately, we cannot use them We cannot, even that we know that they work and they have a very sensitive prediction, exactly as colorectal. I don't know how many of you know that
Colonoscopy.
colonoscopy, it has 25% failure actually, and 5% is perforation in your intestine. So it's invasive, and these algorithms are not, because it's based on analysis from blood. So we have solution, we have technology, now we have another break called regulatory landscape. So I want you to know that exists already in lung and colorectal. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And I think that an essential part of implementation of the cancer beating plan is guided by solid evidence, like you said. So I want to ask Mrs. Mihaela Gherghicianu, what is the role of health research and policy analysis in tailoring the European plan to diverse national needs, ensuring effective and sustainable strategies?
Thank you very much for inviting me here. I will present you Victor Babeș Institute effort to combat the cancer.
Okay.
Our institute is one of the, I believe, is the first research institute in Romania, and his goal is to discover news, to discover the basis of the diseases. Victor Babeș started to look for the cause of the diseases, and he discovered a lot. You know, we have already diseases which he described very, very well. We still working in the same building, finished in 1899, a building dedicated for research, for biomedical research and for histopathological diagnosis. And we have the same goal as Victor Babeș decided when he started this journey. We do medical research and we look for biomarkers to help us to make early diagnosis, to give a prognosis if the disease is installed already, and we also look for targets, molecule for therapies, for personalized therapies. And this is our mission. We have 8 laboratories. They are not quite different. They are collaborate each other and have at last one time in their life a project dealing with cancer. We have facilities for diagnosis mainly, for histopathological diagnosis in cancer. We have a diagnostic center dedicated for patients with cancer. We have also a lot of different microscopies, even high-resolution microscopy such as STED, super-resolution microscopy, or transmission electron microscopy with cryo facility. We have cell culture facilities, and we can grow small cluster of cells which are named organoids derived from a tumor, from a specific patient, and we can test some drugs, and we can test outside the body if a specific therapy is better than another one, trying to reduce the side effects of therapies which are inherent. We can do cell cultures, we can train cells to do specific things, or we can influence their behavior using drugs. We can test various drugs in animal models, in preclinical studies. So We have a large panel of technologies and expertise to do research in cancer. What we do, in fact, we do basic research, and we have some important grants for that, and I will show you two major projects. We are part from National Center of Competence in the field of oncology. It's a project led by Professor Patriciu Achimaș-Cadariu from IOCN Cluj-Napoca. We have in this project a sub-project, and our small project is looking for biomarkers for early diagnosis, biomarkers for prognosis, and we try to do to help a little bit the pathologist building an AI-assisted tool for diagnosis. My colleagues looked for biomarkers for early detection in colorectal cancer, and they started to data mining and decided to look for a network of molecules, network of RNAs. And they started to test in blood samples from patients and find out that this network they proposed to be biomarker for early diagnosis could be effective. The project is still ongoing and is the same for the team looking for biomarkers for prediction in colorectal cancer, and they found another panel, another network of molecules which could be detected in liquid biopsy, which is easier for patient to accept and to perform. So they are showing a bunch of molecules which are a little bit different than normal in in progressive colorectal cancer. And we have also a small part of this project in National Competence Center of Oncology, dealing with histopathological diagnosis. And we train the AI to see normal tissue and tumoral tissue on histological samples. And together with the colleagues from Polytechnic University, we try to develop software, not to diagnose, but to assist the pathologist to have a diagnosis, spotting on the sections specific morphological changes which could be missed, or maybe the AI will discover something new to look for. I believe the digital pathology will be the future. It's easier to share the information, to send the data for second opinion, and this is important. And if we have an AI assistant to look on this particular slide, will be easier or safer to have a good diagnosis. The second project I want to put you in attention is the ROGEM project. It's another huge project in Romania, stating a national genomic research network. Again, network is the key word, dealing with functional genomic studies. It's a quite huge project connecting academia, private healthcare providers, and research institutes. We are partner in this project, and we'll look for something new in tumor microenvironment, not looking specific to the tumor, but around, looking again for molecules giving us information about an early diagnosis, prognosis, or even molecules which could be targeted for therapy. We are also looking for this new word, RNA word. A lot of molecules could be targeted in this area. And we also try to develop from patients tumor organoids to test drugs outside the body and to choose the right one for therapy. In this project, we'll buy another quite new equipment which allows us to do proteomics and genomics on the tissue, on tissue sections from patients' samples, and this will be the subject for statistical analysis, and also we can find new biomarkers, new targets, new molecules to target for diagnosis or for therapy. We also have some small projects dealing with melanoma or with hematopathology, hemato-oncology specter, acute myeloid leukemia or myeloproliferative neoplasm are also subject of small research, not well funded like those projects before I show you. So our plan is to perform research mainly, but also we intend to offer our knowledge to the patients, and for this reason we have a diagnostic center. We are part in a National Cancer Diagnosis Program, molecular testing, and we do diagnosis for colorectal cancer, lung cancer, and breast cancer. We intend to extend this offer, but we need to perform all quality controls required for the administration to be allowed to do this. We still do not have next generation sequencing. We'll buy a new device this year and hope to expand our offer. We also have educational programs, and Professor Becchiano is holding annually, since now it's 18 course of digestive pathology. He get together specialists from world, like Robert Watze, which is the one which described the best elements for diagnosis in digestive pathology. And we also have in the Institute an annual conference, and we have this year a conference about digital pathology and AI tools together with our partners in ROGEM project. And we'll try to help patients every day doing diagnosis or doing research for new discoveries, we hope, but sometimes the money are quite a problem. Not only the money, but young people which are leaving Romania for more developed countries in Europe. Thank you. This is Victor Babeș.
Thank you very much, and if I may say, as a vice chair of Digestive Cancers Europe, that we are following very closely all the European funded projects that are focused on digestive cancer, especially in colorectal cancer, because there are not so many new drugs that address this kind of cancer.
It's true.
Which is the number one as incidence in Romania, and the second one in Europe. Last but not least, on the strategic framework, I want to ask Professor Bojin, from the academic perspective, what is the key to training the next generation of healthcare professionals and policymakers to ensure the long-term success of these national strategies?
I'm not sure if this is the right question question for me.
Okay.
Actually, but I'm training the students at least to like research. This is what I'm actually doing. I'm teaching immunology, and as you all know, maybe this year the Nobel Prize was won by Shimon Sakaguchi, one of the Nobel Prize winners, and it was for immunology, for discovering the Tregs. So about the health policies, I'm not sure. I'm coming from research, and I'm just, let's say, trying to fit into different type of projects at the European Union or at national level. So this is what we are doing.
And you're doing a wonderful job, if I may say.
We can do it better, I'm sure. We can. What I'm trying to present today, because as mentioned, I'm coming from academia and also from research, it's something, a link between academia, research, and health policies. Something like, something that we wanted to develop this year. We started to participate in different type of courses. One was organized by the Biocatalyst Foundation about making or developing a startup. And a startup from the medical part is very hard to do. But anyway, we try to promote our idea of startup, and we even found a name for the startup, never developed, I will show you. But this was about reprogramming. It's not showing, anyway. Reprogramming immunity. It's not showing. Ah, okay. Către calculator. What do you mean?
Apăsați pe laser, doar săgeata din dreapta.
Nu, eu vreau să arăt ceva cu laserul. Laserul nu merge. Nu merge pe asta. Da, am înțeles. Gata. Okay. So, we tried to develop something related to cancer therapy. And this was because we are coming from the field of immunology. This is to reprogram immunity against solid tumors, because in solid tumors we have few drugs, and just mentioned before, just a few minutes ago, there are not so many drugs developed in the last years for the solid tumors, but what can be developed is to reprogram immunity, and this can be done by using some sort of vaccination or using synthetic long peptides. SLP stands for synthetic long peptides. And our goal was to develop these synthetic long peptides starting from common tumor antigens in all solid tumors. This is I know it's a very courageous goal to do something like this, but we have our experience in studying the tumor microenvironment, and these common tumor antigens would come from the tumor microenvironment, not from the tumor themselves, from the tumor cells. So the problem that we identified, and everybody has identified so far, is that, of course, many of the cancers do not respond to the classic anti-immunotherapies, anti-tumor therapies. Targeted therapies are not available for all patients, or mutation-based personalized treatment is quite expensive. Our, let's say, startup or our idea is called Novo SL-PEPs, standing for SL, standing also for saving lives. So the solution that we found was that we need to identify these common targets in all solid tumors. So not to be dependent on the sequencing of the tumor, each type of tumor, breast cancer, prostate cancer, and so on, just to identify common targets on the tumor microenvironment. And we have our expertise for 20 years so far, and this is in tumor-associated fibroblasts. And this is what we wanted to find, some common targets in tumor-associated fibroblasts coming from all solid tumors. And this would be our solution to identify these common targets and then to bioinformatic analyze all these common targets and then to synthesize these synthetic long peptides. Synthetic long peptides which are I will show you made of two type of peptides specific for T cells, for MHC class 1 and MHC class 2. So as a result, these novel SL-PEPs would be just a mixture of common peptides or common identified targets. And this mixture could be used for all the solid tumors, and they will stimulate the T cells to act against the tumors, and this can be done. So our workflow was, or is still, is to get some fresh tumor samples, because we need to isolate the tumor-associated fibroblasts and also cancer cells, and to perform the next generation sequencing, and then identifying the mutations in the tumor-associated fibroblasts, not only in the cancer cells, but of course identifying also the mutation in the cancer cells, and to then to develop these synthetic long peptides. These synthetic long peptides, you can see them on the bottom of the slide. You can see that they are formed of two peptides specific for MHC class 1 and MHC class 2, bound by a ligand, a linker, which is 6 amino acids, and altogether this peptide would be around 30 amino acids. And then you can synthesize this peptide, and based on the HLA of the patients and based on the prediction of the HLA in a specific population, you can develop around 60 to 80 SLPs which will be pulled, and you can have them off the shelf to be used in all the cancer patients. And of course, we have a lot of stages to select the adjuvant that can be used in delivering these synthetic long peptides, and then clinical trials, of course, and so on. So our idea is targeting the cancer patients, the oncologists, and also the pharmaceutical companies. And our expertise is based on sequencing. We have sequenced so far more than 200 tumor and blood samples in the last couple of years. We have access to next generation sequencing interpretation softwares. We have our expertise in 100 samples. We identified around 5 mutations which are common in all the tumor samples. We analyzed prostate, colorectal, we analyzed breast and pulmonary cancer, and we identified these genes which had a specific mutation and specific for a different type of HLAs. And our idea actually was developed during the pandemics, and it's the COVID pandemics, and it's not only us that benefited of the pandemics in this way, but also other companies, you will see. We developed these synthetic long peptides for COVID, and you see that we also performed the in vivo studies in humanized mice. And we also applied for a patent, and we also got a medal for the invention. And not the medal was important, but what was written on the diploma was for finding solution to impossible problems, which I think it was nicely said. So just to summarize, we have expertise, we have the devices, we have samples, tumor samples, and we have a patent application. And we, even with this potential startup, we even got a prize, New Entry of the Year, at a competition, startup competition in Timișoara. So we need to validate, of course, the product. We still need to do a lot of research, but basically these peptide-based treatments, cancer treatments, could have a lot of advantages compared to traditional chemotherapy, including specificity, including less toxicity, versatility, and targeting diverse molecular pathways. So what is similar on the cancer field in this way, in this type of strategy is from Patrick Ott. As you can see, he developed this strategy in 2017, and Catherine Rabu a little bit later in 2019. But anyway, in 2013 already there is available a product which also benefited from the strategy developed in COVID, mRNA for melanoma. They are using actually mRNA, not peptide-based, but they are using mRNA, the same strategy as ours, but only in melanoma, and they do this personalized for 34 neoantigens in melanoma. They do it in clinical trials, as you can see. mRNA 1497, it's an mRNA that functions and is used in the United States for treatment of melanoma. So they do the same. They sequenced, they found the neoantigens, they identified the HLA type of the patient, and then instead of making synthetic long peptides as we do, they make some mRNAs and inject the patient around 34 mRNAs specific for this. So, of course, there are many other strategies in the world, mRNAs, algorithm-based strategies, clinical trials, but our product, which is peptide-based, can be universal, can be kept at room temperature, and can be used for all solid tumors and will induce a specific immune response. So we got stuck, of course, not to mention the IP property, which is, of course, because we work in two public institutions, university and the hospital. Of course, the intellectual property rights belong to the institution that we work in, so we don't see any solution in developing a startup unless we quit our jobs at the university and the hospital. Yes, a spin-off, but yes. We are not that good at these business things. But anyway, we need collaboration, this is for sure. We need collaboration with bioinformatics because what we did so far was manually or with little resources. It's not enough, of course. We need serious bioinformatics. We need clinical trials then. Of course, we can do up to the animal model, humanized animal model, we can do that. And then we need somebody to produce actually the peptides and to test them and so on. But this is our team and we trust our team. Maybe we will succeed. Who knows? Professor Păunescu, who is the coordinator of the Oncogen Center, and our younger student, PhD student, Alexandru Târziu, Valentin Ordodi, who is a very, very good anesthetist, and he's working in animal model. And of course, we have Tudor Oprea, who is a drug hunter, actually. This is what he says, he's developing new drugs. So, thank you for your attention, for the invitation. Thank to all the institutions that founded, let's say, these research ideas at least. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this interesting presentation, and I have to recognize the fact that I'm still fascinated by research and development and by the hidden heroes, because usually the patient is exposed to the investigator, not to the brain behind the research. Thank you very much. So thank you for all those compelling insights. It is clear that aligning European and national efforts requires both vision and collaboration. And we are moving on the second part, innovation and innovation in prevention and care. And thank you, Flaviana, that you opened the conversation for this panel. Why? Because new technologies and better practices are essential for bending the cancer curve, as Professor Gherghicianu and Professor Bojin already explained to us. I want to ask Juan. Juan, can you hear us? Hola, ¿qué tal?
Hello, how are you doing? Can you hear me?
Okay, wonderful. Good to have you with us. Cross-border cooperation and the exchange of best practices are vital for spreading information. So how is European engagement supporting the rapid adoption of cutting-edge practices across all member states? And what is the next big step in EU-wide cooperation? I know it's a very generous topic, but I kindly ask you to maybe explain some particular point.
Yeah, if you let me share, I have a presentation
Okay.
that I would like to. Yeah. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. That's
Perfect.
good. Well, first of all, I would like to thank you for the invitation. And what I'm going to try to focus in my presentation is about the disparities in the EU. The Europe's Beating Cancer Plan has been a huge impulse to the, in many ways, from research to the national cancer plans. Especially research has been an huge improvement during the last years based on the new targeted therapies and the discovery of new biomarkers that are essential for that. We are participating in many European research projects that are focused on new technologies, giving the new possibilities for therapies and diagnostic tools for patients. But still, there are many barriers that we identify from the research point, the moment that something is discovered, to when it gets to the patient. And that increases, or we are concerned, that can increase the gaps between amongst the European countries. For that, well, Antonella already presented our organization, Cancer Patients Europe, and as you said, we are very concerned with these inequalities in Europe. One of the problems after the finding and discoveries made by the researchers, it comes and has to go through clinical trials. We've seen before in before presentation that there are many things that are very interesting in the lab. They can be promising, but they have to go through different filters. First one is the clinical trials has to be approved by in Europe by the EMA. And sometimes one of the problems we are participating in trying to reduce the time that these clinical trials take, the burden of the bureaucratic process, and improving the participation of patients with reducing the paperwork, making it more understandable, but also to try to participate in clinical trials all across the Europe. We have done different actions like promoting the unification of the criteria, the scientific criteria used by the EMA and the HTA bodies that until now has been different, and that has made the whole process longer and more difficult to approve and have the therapies available. Well, it's one problem for patients, cancer patients across Europe, is the access to clinical trials. Clinical trials are mostly in a certain group of countries, mostly Western countries, and that makes other regions to reduce the possibilities for cancer patients to access that. We are trying to work on that to make possible and easy for patients to participate in clinical trials that are happening in other countries. And then, we need also to introduce and improve the participation of underrepresented groups. That includes things like increasing the minority groups in the countries, but also something as obvious as improving the participation of women that are now very much underrepresented in the clinical trials. This is one barrier, but after that, the therapies and diagnostic tools, they have to go through another filter, and that is the HTA process. The HTA process is a health technology assessment, approves and validates the availability of drug in a country. We know the health is still at the national level control, and so from Europe there has been some approaches to try to improve this process, and one has been the new EU HTA regulation. So what we did as Cancer Patient Europe has been a whole program to try to create awareness across Europe to improve the implementation of this regulation, to make patients aware that they not only can, but they should participate and contribute to the process, is the decision making, because this is an essential way of the availability and accessibility for them to the new therapies and diagnostic tools. We did a series of webinars across the different regions in Europe to try to prepare cancer patient associations for the new regulation that is just started in January for oncological products. And now we are trying to do an approach at the national level with in-person meetings to really maintain the monitoring and how this process is being implemented, and that being sure that actually it reaches the goal, that is make the whole process faster and reducing the time that the new therapies take to reach actually the patient. But if the drug can pass this point, there is still another moment where the makes a difference between what is in the theory and what the patients actually receive. And for that, we designed a survey to try to understand how are the new therapies actually reaching the patients. And for that, the best way is to ask the patients, actually. So we focus on a new biomarkers. ESR1 is a estrogen receptor, and this gene creates some mutations that are developed during the hormone therapy for metastatic breast cancer patients. That mutations create a resistance to that therapy, reducing the possibilities for those patients to have an alternative. There has been a new therapy targeting specifically these mutations, is one. And one essential part of that is the detection of the mutation. For that, there is also being developed a new diagnostic tool that is using liquid biopsy. In this case, is using blood, and the mutation can be detected. It's a very sensitive new technology using the genetic detection, and it's not only can help, but also essential for, in this case, the application of the new therapy. So we're trying to see how the information base and what is the awareness of patients. And for that, we focus on the 5 biggest countries in Europe, because having an idea of the problems that they can have, where most of these new therapies are available, we could set up a template on trying to solve at this level the problems they can have at the moment of the availability, and how the patients can perceive and receive all these new technologies for them. First of all, we focus trying to get the information about how patients are aware of the new technology, in this case biomarkers, and how well informed they are. Patients are usually very positive and very optimistic, and they consider, as you can see it in a vast majority, that they were informed about treatment options, and they they trust very much the medical professionals, the healthcare professionals. So having this, then when you go into the reality, what they receive is a little bit different. And then the 35% never discuss biomarker testing with their oncology. You see only 33% didn't know why biomarkers are important for cancer. What is something that define actually the prognosis and the possibilities of treatment of their cancers. And 70%, three quarters, don't know why biomarkers, what kind of biomarkers they're being tested for. And almost 40% have been tested for new biomarkers after they were diagnosed. That means that after the testing by the defining the undiagnostic their cancers, they were never tested afterwards when it's important that because the cancer developed, and in this case we've seen the developing a mutation as ESR1 can be essential to produce a resistance to a certain therapy. Coming to the possibilities of diagnostic tools, the liquid biopsy, there is a very new option that it gives actually a less invasive, less painful way of having an idea of the changes that are being produced in the tumor, and giving a prognostic tool and also a new target to use for the therapy. We came to see that more than half they didn't know that you can the cancers can release some of the DNA, the genetic part, into the bloodstream, and 30% were not confident using the liquid biopsy. Apparently, because 60% don't know that liquid biopsy can detect this cell-free DNA that is released in the blood. We had also 60% that liquid biopsy can give reliable information. It is sensitive enough and it's reliable enough. So the lack of information makes some patients still careful and untrustful about the new possibilities for them to use. So in the end, we found that the key findings that are sometimes paradoxical. You have 2/3 of the participants, as you've seen before, consider that they are well informed, but just 1/3 has the proper information about the role and tests that biomarkers have in their disease. Around 15% of the metastatic breast cancer patients with this profile, ER positive, HER2 negative, there are specifically the targets for and the important population for the use and development of the ESR1 mutation is directly affected. Only 15% knew about the importance of this mutation. This information is different from the countries that we consulted. So that means that there is a disparity also in that sense. And improving the understanding of the ESR1 testing is essential, not only for the patients, but also for the healthcare professionals, because it seems there is a lack of information and discussion between the medical doctors, the oncologists, and the patients. The use of liquid biopsy is increasing in Europe, but still very much different. We found a huge difference in the protocols and guidelines amongst the countries tested. And that I'm talking again, these are the biggest countries in Europe. And there is still a lack of information, more than 50%, more than half, about the use of liquid biopsy for cancer diagnosis. And this is important because the education leads to less limitations, and it can improve the use and benefits that the liquid biopsy can provide to the patients, reducing burdens like the pain and invasiveness. So in the end, we came with a call to action. This white paper was presented at the European Parliament, and as always, we tried to make a call for specific ways to change the situations, and always with the idea to reduce the disparities in Europe. As you can see, it comes all for policymakers, but also for patient associations that have to play an important role. As well, in the end, that conversation between healthcare professionals and patients have to be definitely improved, because that can be the last barrier at the time of accessing a new therapy or the use of the diagnostic tool. So thank you, and I will stop sharing now.
Thank you very much, Juan. What an interesting presentation. So we've covered strategy, we've covered integration and innovation. And I want to tell you that we still have 2 or 3 minutes maybe for some questions. If there are questions from online or here from the attendees here with us.
Yes, we have a question from online. What role do emerging technologies such as AI and digital health tools play in improving early cancer detection and personalized prevention? What role do emerging technologies such as AI and digital health tools play in improving early cancer detection and personalized prevention? It is not specified, so you can decide who can answer.
Okay, as an investor in this area, I can say it pays a lot of importance, because it's creating tools to help the doctors to set an early diagnosis or just a diagnosis, because the number of oncologists is very low comparing with the need in the market. The number of information they should process, it's incredible, because even if it's from the DNA sequencing or for any other types of determinations, it's the number of parameters is very long, and also you have images, and if you have something to actually help you to move a bit quicker, each minute means another life saved. So it's very important to have such tools in the market.
I believe so. We need a little bit help from AI, but this the final call will be on the many. But will help very much.
It's a tool, it's not.
Yes. quite fast.
Juan, Antonella, any thoughts?
If I can you hear me? Well, as I just presented, one of the problems at the time of the deciding to use new technologies, new therapies, is well, maybe the healthcare professionals sometimes they don't have enough time to update in the new therapies and diagnostic tools that are provided. They don't have enough information, and sometimes that can be a barrier for them to decide to use. I think AI, it can be definitely a tool that can help to make that decision easier. They can give the information to the clinician in real time and help that oncologist to make easier at the time of the use of the new technologies.
And we have one more question for Antonella. How can EU countries better align their cancer plans with Europe's Beating Cancer Plan?
So how can we align the national cancer plans?
Well, as we always say, yeah, yes. So I think that that is definitely a political will. So everything starts with a political will at member state level on where to invest and how to spend the money. So I think that that is the preliminary stage is political beating cancer plan as a tool to also push and promote more within, to advocate for a strong national cancer plan within the country.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? Please.
Maybe a quick question, this is George from Pena. How do you see the acceptance of novel screening technologies? For example, we are running in the project OncoScreen, different clinical trials with innovative sensors, for example, volatile organic compounds sensors that can measure up to, for example, colorectal cancer markers. So do you see this as a trend, or still traditional methods are used?
The only constraint you have for that technology is the regulatory landscape. It will take a while till you actually manage to set this new medical device in the market, because you have sensors. I assume you have, of course, software, and these are already two conditions that will take a while, but there is no barrier to develop, except this barrier, time. I don't think that we have to replace something. We don't have enough tools. I mean, it's not like we have like 100 tools on the market and we are flooded. We actually accept the traditional ways. We actually have nothing except the cancer, the one BRCA for the breast. We don't have anything actually besides the traditional. So it's a lot of room for improvement.
Yeah, and I can also add that as far as there is evidence on safety and accuracy of those tools, the system and the market is flexible and open, but safety and accuracy must be secured. So clinical trials, data, evidence is very important.
And we have here one question from the audience. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the presentations and all the tough work that goes behind the scenes. So how we can, I think as there are global challenges and also local challenges in the trust of science, how we can bring all your work to the general public. Because I think that's heavy work going across the country, but also in the region, also on diagnostic and treatment and investments, but still we are challenging a lot the general trust in science. And also so it's very much linked also how we link the treatment and diagnostic with prevention, but also how we manage to share with the general public across different age groups the science steps forward that are going across the Europe region. Thank you.
I'll start again myself because I'm the first one in line. Communicating science, it's a job itself. What we should acknowledge is that a scientist is not necessarily a good communicator for the general public. We speak too complicated for them. And that's why they don't trust, because you feel defeated when somebody tries with so big words to explain you something. This is a job itself, and I think all the research should put resources also in the communication, using the tools this new generation use. And we have to start early, not from the adult population, to explain why it's good to go to a doctor, to be part of a screen and so on. We should start early from the school with this kind of communication, because health has a specific vocabulary, and this is a barrier. We have to translate for everyone, from the elderly people in the village in a mountain without no school, because we still have people that don't know how to read, to the most evaluated high school children or students and so on. But this is something that we have to invest in. If you really want to be, trust, it's about also appreciation. It's about, let me know what you do in my own language. Thank you.
I agree. It's a job to make science easy for everybody.
And maybe the patient advocates can ease this transition and translate science to patients?
Yeah, and in fact, it's something that we constantly do. I mean, one is a former professor, a university professor, and now collaborates with us. So is really a key, like, is the ring between science and the patient community. And the patient community doesn't necessarily need to be scientific, with a scientific background, and neither the scientific makers community. So that is, I mean, this is a crucial, very, very important aspect of the work that we do.
Thank you very much, Antonella. As we conclude, I want to emphasize the following takeaways from our discussion today. Integration is the key. Innovation is not negotiable. The patient voice is central. And collaboration and co-creation. Thank you to our exceptional panelists, Flaviana, Antonella, Mihaela, Florina, and Juan Jose, for your expertise and passion. Thank you, attendees, for your engagement. And let's continue this momentum by advocating for equitable access, early detection, and innovative care. Together we can make cancer a story of survival. Thank you very much.